Okay guys, so here is a test where I'm trying to see whether I'm streaming live, whether everything is working fine. So please let me know if everything is working fine. I'm also checking this on another device and see if this is working at all, because this would be quite annoying if I'm streaming and nothing is working. Okay, I think it's now working. So welcome to this new live streaming, where the goal of these new live streamings will be spending a little bit of time together, about half an hour together, where we can see together how I approach different styles and different genres and see how to play them, and hopefully give you enough tips, you know, to do it yourself and to hopefully be able to enjoy the practice on your guitars. Okay, so today we're gonna see some Brazilian guitar. Okay, we're gonna play some Bossa Nova, and what we're gonna do really, we're gonna give a few tips on chord positions, but also we're gonna give tips on rhythms and how you can practice all this. So yeah, we're ready to go basically. As always guys, while you join, feel free to say hi. It would actually be amazing if you could say hi and see and tell me if everything is alright with the audio in the video, because I'm checking a new way of streaming for the first time today. So hopefully I'll be able to give you even more resources while we are together in this live streaming. Okay, so just let me know if everything works fine, if everything is alright. And if you're watching this lesson live, feel free to also ask any questions while I'm live, so that we can interact and make it more of an actual lesson. Okay, or instead, if you are just watching the replay, just enjoy this lesson, and if you have questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. You guys know, if you watched other episodes on or other videos on this channel, that I do my very best to reply to each comment. So yeah, feel free to leave them below. And if you want to support this channel, what you can do on your end is simply like this live streaming, like my videos, and share them whenever you can. And if you want to support even more, you know, this channel, if you enjoy my content and if you got any value of that, please, you can either use the links below, which are Amazon affiliate links, where you can buy things on Amazon, and I might get a small commission on that and no extra cost for you. And another way of supporting this channel is to use the stickers and the super chat that you've got here on the right, okay, in the live chat. Okay, I will also have a look at the comments while I'm streaming, so yeah, I'll hopefully be able to get back to you. Arthur says, hello, everything is all right here. Thanks for joining, Arthur, and thanks for letting me know. I'm glad that everything seems to work now. I've spent quite a lot of time thinking that I was streaming, and I was not streaming actually. And also Ethan says, greetings from all the way in Zimbabwe. That's fantastic, and thanks for joining this live streaming, guys. So today we're gonna see, as I said, a few chord positions and the rhythm patterns to play Bossa Nova on guitar, hence why I've got this classical guitar with nylon strings. We'll be going through probably the most popular song of Bossa Nova music, which is The Girl from Ipanema, or Garota de Ipanema by Antonio Carlos Jobim. And what is really important is showing you guys the way I approach this, so how I would play the chord positions, and a few rhythm variations that you can practice as well. Okay, so I would start from saying that first of all, keep in mind, guys, that I've got an entire playlist of videos about Bossa Nova guitar, so Brazilian guitar lessons. They're free to watch, and I will link them in the description below. You will also find a few resources about, you know, basic rhythms of Bossa Nova guitar that you can use for any Brazilian song you want to learn. And there is also a video which is about to go out right now on 7th course on my channel. So after watching this live streaming, make sure to check it out. It's what I call the survival kit, so all of the dominant 7, major 7, and minor 7 positions, also diminished 7th positions that you absolutely need to know in order to play jazz and Bossa Nova music. So make sure to check it out. It's linked in the description below. That being said, guys, let's get started. And the first thing that I would like to do is showing you one chord, which is the F major 7, the first chord that you find in The Girl from Ipanema. And we are gonna use this interactive chart that hopefully you should be able to see on screen with me. So this is just a page of a book called The Real Book. The Real Book is that book that contains all of the most important jazz standards and also Bossa Nova standards. So The Girl from Ipanema is one of them, and it's in the first volume of The Real Book. Now, this is what you find when you open The Real Book. You find the melody and you find the chords on top. What we are gonna do today, we're gonna go over the harmony. So we're gonna check out the chord positions together, and I'm gonna show you how I would play these chords, sometimes adding some variations that are not actually in the Real Book. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. Now, the first chord, F major 7, I would definitely play it up here with the root on the E string, like that. Okay, and as you can see there, you're gonna play it for 2 bars. In the Real Book, it's notated as 4/4, like 1, 2, 3, 4. More often, Brazilian music is actually counted in 2, so either 2/4 or even 2/2 sometimes. So you can even say like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and so on. Okay, which is absolutely the same. So it's completely up to you, whatever you feel more comfortable with. Now, the second chord that you find there after the F major 7 is a G7, but the way I play the G7, as you probably already spot, it's not this G7 or this G7, the classic position. I actually add an alteration to it, which is gonna be the flat 5 or sharp 11, which is the same, this note here on the 2nd fret. Now, when I do so, as you can see, it's not in the music, right? It's not in the Real Book, but what I do, I add this because it's a cliche. It's one of those things that everybody knows. It's gonna sound more Brazilian when you do it. To me, as soon as I hear this chord, it brings me to Brazil already, and it's the color and the vibe that you hear in Brazilian music all the time, right? So that's what I would do with that G7 flat 5. Now let's try to understand why this is a G7 flat 5. I've got an entire music series on music theory for guitarists, which is linked in the description below as well, made by 20 episodes, 20 full lessons of about 1 hour each, free for everybody to watch and learn all the theory behind these chords and the harmony, and you know how you find the keys, how you define scales and degrees and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, what I want to say about this G7 flat 5 is that the way you should look at this G7 flat 5 is always thinking of the 7th chords as 1, 3, 7. So root, 3rd, and 7th. And the 5th often becomes, you know, an alteration that you can use. For example, here it's a flat 5, like that, okay? So once you see the most important notes, the 3 most important notes, you can then use another finger and get the flat 5 like this. And this is a G7 flat 5, which I like to play replacing the classic G7, which would be this. Nothing wrong if you play it. You can play F major 7 and then move to this G7, but I just feel like that when you add this, you're already adding the right color to this song. Okay. That being said, the next chord is just a simple G minus 7, which I would play like this. And again, even this position is included in that survival kit that I mentioned. It's gonna be in that video that's going out basically right now on the channel, so make sure to check it out. It's linked in the description. After this G minus 7, I go to G flat 7, but when I go to G flat 7, I play again, once more, the same dominant 7 chord, flat 5, okay? But this time the flat 5, which is the note C here, is the perfect 5th of the F major 7, so it kind of like voice leads what you are going to connect in terms of a harmony, okay? Going from this to this. That being said, we are already able to play the first 2 lines, and to show you exactly what pattern I want to rhythmically use today, I'm gonna go and switch to this second camera that hopefully will allow you, now it will, to see my right hand better, okay? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna play with the thumb, the root note of the chord, which is the F this time here on the top string. I'm gonna skip 1 string, and then with my index, middle, and ring finger, I'm basically playing these 3 strings, the D, G, and B. Okay, so this is my position. I'll show you now the pattern with this second camera, where I'm gonna basically play all of the 4 strings simultaneously, then only 3, so and then I'm gonna play a single note, okay, on the bass, followed by the 3 strings separately. So 4 strings followed by 3, then single on the bass and followed by 3 again. The thing about this rhythm is that I start with 2 8th notes, like 1 and, but then I play a 16th note on the bass and a dotted 8th note on top, so like that. Okay, hopefully this makes sense. This is the way I think about this main pattern, which is a simple pattern but also a very common pattern in Bossa Nova guitar. So applying this for 2 bars on the F major 7, then I move to G7 flat 5 same, 1 bar of G minor 7, 1 bar of G7 flat 5, 1 bar of F major 7, and back to G7 flat 5 for another bar. For all of these chords, I'm literally playing the same pattern. So I'm intentionally avoiding creating any variation to all this, okay? I'm sticking to the same pattern from start to finish. Then if we switch back to the chart, you can see, guys, that you've got the double dots at the end of the second line, which means repeat the whole thing, but you won't go through the first ending of F major 7 and G flat 7. Instead, you will go to the second ending in the third line, which means 2 bars of F major 7 at the end of the second time. And this leads you into the B section, which will start with a G flat major 7. There is a modulation there. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna play those first 2 lines twice with you having the chart on screen so that you can see what I'm going to play. So the pattern that I'm using on the right hand is always the same, just the, okay, which you can count like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and if you count it in 4/4, or if you count it in 2 as bum, 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 bum. Okay, that's exactly the same. It still takes 2 bars. So let's give it a go together. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Double dots. Staying here. And now I'll move half step higher, because now I'm gonna play the G flat major 7 and start the B section. So let's see a few positions that you can use for this B section. So G flat major 7, it's nothing new, guys. It's basically the same as the F major 7, just half step higher. Then when I go to B7, again, I wouldn't play like a classic B7 like this or one like this, although again, nothing wrong with that, but I feel like I want to add more color, so I will use an extension, and the extension I'm gonna use today is the 9th. Getting this classic funk chord, if you want, okay, which is the B9 here. And then from here, I can easily move this second finger up to F sharp to play the F sharp minus 7, simply using the same position as the G minus 7 that we were playing before, okay. From here, the next chord says D7, so you could potentially play a D7 like this, like that, and maybe mess around, you know, with the root on the bass and then the 5th on the bass. But again, I want to stick to the same position as the B9 to keep the same extension, so I'll be playing a D9 instead, okay, like that, okay. That being said, after playing this D9, I go to G minus 7 again, and because the chart says E flat 7, I'm gonna play the E flat 7 again with the major 9th, so that the B9, the D9, and the E flat 9 have the same positions, and you guys can practice this with only one shape, as well as you can play G minus 7, F sharp minus 7, and then A minus 7, which I'm going to now, with the same shape as well. When instead, after the A minor 7, I've got to play a D7 flat 9. This time I can't play this position here, because instead of using the major 9, I must use the flat 9, and the flat 9 is another alteration, okay? So I'm gonna go for this position, okay? This position is made by root, then major, third, minor 7, so again the 3 important notes that we mentioned before. There is no fifth, and I'm gonna play the flat 9 here. Beautiful chord, very tensive. And then after playing this, I just repeat this 2-5 minor. This is a 2-5 minor, 1 whole step below, and play G minor 7 and C 7 flat 9. Okay. After that, I'm gonna repeat one more A section as the one above. So the whole B section instead goes like G flat major 7, B7 or B9, F sharp minor 7, D7 or D9, G minor 7, and E flat 7 or E flat 9. This is 2 bars each. If instead I look at the next 4 coming up, I've got 1 bar of A minor 7, 1 bar of D7 flat 9, 1 bar of G minor 7, 1 bar of C7 flat 9. Let me play all this with the usual pattern that we went through before. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. To the A section. Okay, this is a simple way of approaching it, guys, just with few shapes, few positions, and with one rhythm pattern. Obviously, when you feel comfortable with it, you can start adding a little bit more of advanced variations to it. For example, you might like to play different sets of strings and sometimes play these 4 on the B9, sometimes play these. So depending on whether you want to go D, G, and B strings with these 3, or G, B, and E strings with these 3. I'll show you with the other camera as well. So you should be able to see this. If I do that, and I'm moving between this and this. And sometimes you can do both. For example, keeping the same rhythm, but alternating between the sets of strings that you're using. Obviously, this applies also to D9, to the E flat 9, and to the other 9th chords that we were playing. That being said, if we go back here, you might see that sometimes there are some chords which are particularly close, and you might want to use things like okay, which are slightly more articulated patterns that we'll be showing you later, but more importantly, walking bass lines between D on the bass, on the D9, for example, moving to A on the bass, because I consider the 5th to be the note that I really want to hear on the bass now. Typical of Bossa, but even of other styles as well. And what I do after that, I create this chromatism, A flat, G, okay, and this leads me to play the G minor 7 next, then the E flat, and from the E flat 7, 9, again I do the same thing, alternating the E flat and the B flat on the bass. This leads me to go back to A minor 7 to play the 2-5, another chromatism to play this 2-5 between G minor 7 and C7 flat 9. Okay, so hopefully this makes sense. Again, guys, let me know while I'm playing this, let me know if everything makes sense, or if you maybe have any questions or things that you want to discuss about these chords, these positions, and the rhythms that I'm showing you today. Okay, so I'll be playing now the B section again, slightly differently, but with that same pattern on the right hand. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so rhythmically the pattern never changed because I forced myself to stick to the same rhythm all the time. But I still created a few variations here and there. I made sure that I created, you know, walking bass lines with chromatisms as much as I can. Okay. Ethan says that this is a little bit of a stretch. I know, guys, this is a lesson for more advanced players, slightly more advanced players that already know how to play all of these chords, okay, and can follow this rhythm that we are playing today. But don't worry and just stick to it till the end, and you'll see that at the end of the day we just need a very few positions and only one rhythm pattern to play the entire thing. And what you get away with this is an approach that you can then repeat on other Bossa Nova tunes, but more importantly, you will already learn the chord progression of the most popular Brazilian song and Bossa Nova song, also very important jazz standard as well. Okay, so after that you might want to learn the melody, the improvisation, and the harmonic analysis, and a few variations that you can play to the rhythm. Okay. That being said, if you feel like you want to go deeper into the theory or deeper into the chord positions, make sure to check out the links in the description below, because most of the things that you need to play this tune are linked in those chords below. Okay, and again, while you join, please let me know if you have any questions. So if you are new here, make sure to let me know if you have questions about the chord positions or the rhythm patterns. Okay, I'll be going over this B section once more, and I will also connect it to the last few bars, the last 8 bars of the A section. So I'm starting from the G flat major 7 that you see on the chart. Okay, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now, A section. Repeat the last 2 chords to create a bump and an outro at the same time, slowing down, and then ending on the F major 7. Played only with these 2 fingers because I like to hear the 6th and the 9th. Okay, so this becomes an F, 6, 9, and guys, 6, 9 chords are extremely important in Bossa Nova guitar. Guys, again, if you just joined this live streaming, make sure to leave a like to this video. This is really, really important. So if you want to support this channel and if you enjoy these videos and these lessons, make sure to like this video. That being said, guys, we can now try to play the whole structure, the 32 bar structure, which contains the A section twice, then the B section once, and then the A section again. Okay, so let's give it a go from the very beginning of this. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, you know what? Let's play it at a more Brazilian tempo, so slightly faster than that, because we already saw how this sounds like at a slower tempo. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat. B section. A section. down, arpeggios, ending on the F6-9. Okay, so this could be an example, guys. Of course, this is just an example of how you could approach this tune, which for many people I appreciate they might be a little bit intimidating at first, but again, if you've got enough clarity about the shapes that you're going to use and the rhythm pattern, you can actually approach something even out of your comfort zone, and sometimes it's actually nice to push your limits and learn something slightly harder. If instead you already play some jazz or bossa nova guitar, or if you are a more experienced player in general, what you can do next, you can start adding a few extra variations to this, okay, which could be a rhythm variation. So playing, for example, a mirrored pattern, which I talked about in other bossa nova videos on the channel, which means that you get two rhythms within the bar, one being very regular, made by two sounds, two eighth notes, and one being a syncopation. And then in the second bar with the same chord, or even with other chords if you want, you simply change and mirror that pattern into syncopation and then two eighth notes. Okay, so I'll show you with the other camera. This looks like this. Okay, the second time I play the two eighth notes, I actually prefer to play only a bass note and then the rest of the chord line. And again, this leaves you enough room for walking bass lines when you, for example, connect to the next chord, so that you go from F to G, passing through a G flat. And this creates... Actually, let's go to the mirror pattern. You see that now sometimes I play an anticipation of the chord with the upper part of the chord being on the offbeat, and this creates a more staccato feel, which adds even more groove and rhythm to what you're playing. Okay, so going over the A section only with this variation, this could be like... Second time. Okay, hopefully this makes sense. Let me know, guys, if this is okay rhythm-wise, or if you have questions about the pattern. Now going back to the structure, which is here, and what I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna show you how you can actually apply this to the B section as well. And this is really interesting. It creates a variety of it. To the A section. So you see that because the B section has a variety of chords, you can obviously create more walking bass lines in between, even more extensions, more colors playing different strings. And what I like to do from time to time, if I play, for example, a -7 chord, I like to stretch my finger and get the major ninth, so that I play a minor ninth chord like that. You might also play it like that if you like, okay? Many Brazilian players play like that. Keep in mind that if you use, guys, a classical guitar with nylon strings, more likely the neck is a little bit chunkier than your acoustic and electric guitars, so it might be necessary, you know, a stretch, you know, to play things like that. Oh, thank Ethan for your comment. I'm glad that you enjoyed it, and hopefully this, guys, has been helpful for many of you, and I'd really like to hear from you. So if you like, if you guys feel like leaving a like or leaving a comment, I would really appreciate that, and I would love to get in touch with you. That being said, guys, I'll just leave you with the full structure now, the 32 bars, in a more free way with the rhythm and with the extensions and the walking bass lines, because in this way you can hopefully see a way where you can also improvise a little in the rhythm part of this tune. Okay, I'll keep the structure on screen so that you can see it with me, and let's give it a go together. Like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, right guys, I hope you enjoyed it. That's all for this lesson and for this live streaming. Again, remember to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so that you get a notification about half an hour before I'm going live next time. Okay, so thanks a lot for your support. Brazilian learning, girl from Ipanema, from a guy in England. That's really true, Arthur. And I can tell you more, that I've taught this song to many Brazilian students, and you're right, it's quite funny, but on the same page, it's also one of the nice things about music. Okay, so thanks a lot guys for watching, thanks for your support, and again, feel free to get in touch anytime, and I'll be live very soon with another lesson. So you all have a great weekend, and I'll see you very soon.